Hello everyone, greetings. So welcome to this live stream. We're just about to get started over here. So I'm about to set up some features, just double check with the sound and everything. So welcome to those of you that have already joined. How's it doing? Happy lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So everything's about to be exposed. Okay, so from my side, give me a second while I just set everything up and let people know about this. If you want to share this link to anybody that you think is going to benefit from this conversation, go ahead and do that. Just spread the word, get all of that info out while I do the same. And say hello in the chat, by the way, which I'm going to activate fairly soon. So one moment. Okay. Firstly, okay, so I'm setting up some chat for me. Okay, let's see if we can pop out the chat first. There we go. Okie dokie. So I can see Stefan, Heather, Divine, My Divine Purpose. How's it going? Okay. From what I can see, it looks like the stream is fairly good at the moment. There's already 28 people. Hello, everyone. Greetings. Okay, so I'm going to close that because we're going to use that. And I'm going to pop this out. Now I've got a very, very, very strong feeling that Mercury is going to retrograde me when I do this. So they've changed the chat feature to make it an actual window, which I'm hoping that, okay, there we go. Do this over here. Okay, everybody can see me? Hello? Let's see how I can get this window to work at the same time. So there's the chat feature. Hey, Caroline. Hey, SR. Hey, Perry. Hey, Indiana Jones. Nice. Hey, Kathy. Okay. Let's do all live chats. Okay. I'm just busy setting up the chat over here so I can get it. That's not going to be fun. Okay, we'll just use it like that for now. Hey, Laura. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Astra, Cara, or Cara. Otherwise, that's how you're known, to me at least. Okay. All right, so hey, everybody. So we're just kind of in a little bit of dead space at the moment where we're just letting people join and going to send this out to all the peeps. Hey, Laura. Hey, Tarot. Tarot by Soul Essence. Nice. Greetings. Okay. And then one more. How many of these do I need? Yeah. There's the studio. Okay. I wonder if I can do this, get out of pop-out chat. So I'm going to go back to YouTube so I can get the link to this live stream. How's everybody doing, by the way? Again, to those of you new ones, happy new eclipse or lunar eclipse. Okay, there, that's what I'm looking for. Scorpio eclipse. I bet it's been fairly emotional for lots of us. Okay, lives. Okay, I want to go to actually edit this. Okay. As I said, just a bit of dead space at the moment while I set up and share the link to everyone. And then we're gonna jam today with this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Now the question is, where did that image go? There it is. Okie dokie. Okay. So now we're doing something there. Customization. Thank you. Yeah, we got live chat as well. Okay. Do you want that on? Save. Okay, let me go back to the chat to see how everybody's doing. Hey Santana. Hey Jordan. I love the disclaimer. Sound is low, Elkie. I shared on Telegram. Thanks very much, Cara. Can everybody confirm to me how the sound is coming through? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Dolores Karanen is fun. Definitely. Sound is good. It's fun. It could be a bit louder. I can change that to about 61, 62, but I think that's the best it's going to get until it starts to become a little bit distorted. All right. Okay, last thing that I need to do for us here before we can get going. Gosh, this new chat feature that doesn't allow you to like pop out into a window, it just keeps it in a browser, has really put me off a bit. In the sense that I can't actually... Okay. Maybe I can do something here. Maybe if I turn that off and I do this and I say pop out chat. Yes, I did it. It's a lifesaver from my side, to be honest. So I'm very happy that that's just happened for me. Okay. Come on, share button. Fun. I'm just going to have to do it this way. Just put it onto the community so everybody can know. There it is, 41 people watching. Hey, 41 people. We're going to jam into some Mercury retrograde. Okay. This is my last little, podcasts. Upload video to get started. I didn't know, by the way, YouTube has added the feature where you can do podcasts now on it. So there's videos, there's shorts, there's lives, and I have availability for podcasts, which is amazing. I am definitely going to use that for the future. Okay. There we go, community. Finally. Okay. Find the video. Excellent. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll edit all of this when this is get posted so that you can just watch it from the start, but it's nice to have everybody live at the moment, just kind of mingling a bit there in cyberspace. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. It's done. It's shared, and everything that I wanted is in order. I have the chat box over here. Shared in studio group. Thanks very much, Cara. Pluto and Aquarius rocks for now. I have a very, I like, obviously, the fact that Pluto moves through the signs. It does wonderful changing things. I'm also very aware of the shadow side of Aquarius. And so I like Pluto and Aquarius, but I'm also very Yeah, we've got a lot of things to work through as a civilization with Pluto and Aquarius. I think it's going to be tough. I think Pluto in Capricorn is definitely tough emotionally. I think for a society, for us as a global kind of process, there's going to be a lot of rapid change that it's like foreign territory. That's what Aquarius is about. When we have an Aquarius transit or Uranus is doing something in our astrology chart, emotionally we land up in and new spaces, new pieces of territory that are often very alien or foreign to us. That's why the alien concept will be associated with Aquarius, because it's a process of something that's outside your comfort zone that interacts with you, and then you're like, whoa. So there's an instinctual wanting to reject it and say no, keep that away, or there's a desire to want to embrace that process. It's kind of a binary that happens with our Aquarius signatures. So if you see like Uranus moving through your third house or sixth house or 10th house, you can always understand the archetype of that planet when it's moving through that house system by realizing that you go through a lot of changes in very rapid succession that can often feel like you're in new foreign territory. Okay, so good news is we've shared it. We've got a nice gang of people just off the bat like that, which is amazing. I mean, I didn't actually announce this. So all things are good. Okay, and there is everybody. So 11 minutes, we've got 46. Hey everybody, 46. Okay. And the sound is good, which is great. Cool. And we've got the chat going over there. All right, so lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Let's dive into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us on a little bit of a journey, and it'll be a combination of some images, me talking, and then at the end of this conversation, we'll just kind of throw it back out and do some Q&A with us, okay? All right. So let's start off by doing it this way. All right. So first things first, what are eclipses? I think it's important for us all to have a good grounding and a foundational understanding of what are eclipses. So in the context of this question, what are eclipses, the way that we're going to present this is like this, okay? So eclipses are when we have new and full moons that land on the nodal axis, okay, the south and north node of the moon, okay? So the moon, like, is obviously attached to the Earth in terms of its orbit, and the moon will go beneath the ecliptic at some point, or just like subtly go beneath the ecliptic, and then it will rise at the ecliptic. So the nodes are the points where the moon intersects the ecliptic on one side, it goes upwards like that, and then when it comes around like this, it will go below the ecliptic, and so those 2 points, they're always 180 degrees apart from each other, and these two intersections between the moon rising above the ecliptic and the moon going beneath the ecliptic, those are what the nodes are. And if you go ahead and read Dane Rudyard's work, you will find him doing extensive sort of observation, correlation, and content around how the nodes impact our lives. They're pretty significant. So when we have eclipses, what we're really just having is a normal sun and moon pattern, right? Full moon and new moon. But this happens then close to or on the nodes of the moon. So it really carries a tremendous impact. And they happen sort of every 5.5 to 6 months, which I'll show you. Okay, so what are eclipses? So these events take place and they always land on the south and north node. Okay, so we had the full moon, the new moon, land on the north node, and this lunar eclipse in Scorpio is landing on the south node. Okay, all right. So this is what we have at the moment. We have a lunar eclipse. The sun is sitting over there. It's got this nice little bright glowiness. and then you see the moon is behind the Earth, or the Earth is behind, or the Earth is in front of the moon, and this is what creates a full moon, okay? And this is a lunar eclipse. So that's what's happening in the sky right now, okay? So that's the first thing. And now the south node will be situated there between the Earth and the moon in this chart, right? That's where that intersection is taking place, okay? So this is what it looks like. Cool. So why are they important? Okay, why are the eclipses important? Well, they're important because what they do is they speak to a larger cycle that takes place every 5.5 to 6 months. Okay, so in this image over here, you see this red line, this red circle. Think of that as this barrier of a 5.5 to 6 month period. It's a holding pattern. Okay, a holding pattern. All right, and that red circle over here then contains the themes that correlate to the energetic transformation of our consciousness. So it's a 6 month period, 5.5 to 6 month period, where that theme of the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse deeply shapes and impacts the stories and experiences that we live through as a collective and individually for us. Okay, so the white circle over here is thinking more in terms of, like, you know, we deal with a Mercury retrograde for 3 months, or we have Venus move through our 5th house and 6th house. There are certain cycles that take place within this 6 month period, and this lunar eclipse and solar eclipse holds a theme for us. So when you're reading a solar eclipse and lunar eclipse in a chart, or you're looking at the kind of themes that will take place for us as a collective, what I'm trying to teach you here, what I'm trying to show you here is that look at it in the context of a large cycle that is holding smaller patterns of transformation within it. Okay. All right. So that kind of gives a lot of information about how I'll then describe and share the astrology for us. Okay. So where is it for you? Right? Where is the solar eclipse landing? And where is the lunar eclipse landing? What house is it in for you? And what house is this? Did the solar eclipse land in? And what house did the lunar eclipse land in? Okay. So we want to kind of get into that space, because these are patterns within your life over the next 5.5 to 6 months that you'll be working through and dealing with. So if you really want to get connected to your own personal soul story, which is the whole point of why I do this, is to kind of develop that conscious attachment to your own archetypal myth that you as a human being is living through, right? What you want to do with this information is look at where the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse is landing, and then based on what information I'll share with you, go back to your life and look at where these are landing in your natal chart, so that you can see what evolutionary themes you might be dealing with. Okay, so that's how to use this information. Okay. All right. So let's recap and take a look at the solar eclipse in Aries that we just recently had, so that it can then set the stage for us to look at the lunar eclipse for us, okay? Because they have to be taken into context. Does that make sense? So this is the chart of the solar eclipse in Aries. As you can see, 29 degrees of Aries was where the sun and the moon was. And if you notice, that sun and that moon is within a 5-degree orb of the north node, right? So there's the sun, and then there's the north node, and then there's Mercury, right? In that holding pattern. So again, eclipses are when we have a new moon and a full moon land on the nodal axis, okay? So in the previous video that I shared on this energy, the main theme was Aries. So Aries likes for us to begin a new quest. So the question that you want to be reflecting on wherever this Aries energy lands in your personal chart is look at what new opportunities, what new circumstances or situations potentially are emerging for you, and are you listening to the call for adventure? Okay. When we live out Aries stories in our lives, what we get to experience is a prompt from life to go on some form of quest, some form of adventure. And it is an invitation to pursue something that we want to attain. So if you were to really truly understand the nature of this energy right now and utilize it in a very real and concrete way in your life, reflect on where there are potentially new avenues, new stories, new potential opportunities arising for you. And are you hearing the possibility of a call, like a call to adventure, a call to start something new, to begin something new? But it can also feel at the same time that in order to initiate this, there has to be a symbol within your life. You need to develop a symbol towards that perspective, towards that adventure, towards that point of view, or that adventure. You need to develop a symbol within yourself. You need to relate to it symbolically. So it could be the symbol of a better job status. It could be the symbol of healthier boundaries in relationships. It could be the symbol of stepping into a new creative role. Whatever that may be for you, whatever that is in the scope of your life, you want to look at your life and you want to reflect on what new opportunity could potentially be arising for you. Okay, the symbol is the key piece here. If you want to really activate this energy, look at what the symbol represents to you, and then merge with that, because your consciousness, and I'll do this over here, your consciousness works in archetypical ways. So the archetype of the mother, the archetype of the father, the archetype of the child, the archetype of the successful person, the archetype of the relationship, but you get the point here, right? We live stories, and this story that is now unfolding for us individually, for you as a person relative to your karma, and us for as a collective, is an initiation into something new. And it feels very scary because it's never been done before, it's never been lived before. And as I said in the previous video, there's potential to look at an unexpected door that is sort of there, that you may have not thought was the journey. We may be looking at it a certain way, but then there's an opportunity standing over here, and it's like, do we look to that side? Do you look to that side and say, oh, I didn't actually think about that? Like, that's a piece of this solar eclipse energy. It's the awareness to potentially initiate something new, whatever that may be. But it may be an unexpected door. It may be an unexpected opportunity. Okay, so hope that feels clear to you. Remember the symbol, right? Whatever that may be. So we're gonna break this down into three aspects, okay, regarding this lunar eclipse. So I'm gonna first look at aspect one, and the image that you have on your screen right now is this line that goes through these pebbles, right? These small little rocks. Now, again, I'm using imagery here to really capture the essence of this first aspect that I want to talk about. And it has to do with alignment. Okay, it has to do with alignment. Okay, so let's see if I can pull this off for us. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to now do this over here. Now you could see me, and then there we go. There's the chart. Yes, completed. Okay, so you are now looking at the lunar eclipse chart, and this is for, again, the 5th of May, Friday the 5th of May, depending on where you are in the world. So it's pretty interesting, There's a lot of aspects going on in this astrology chart. The first place, well, let's do this first. Let's do this first. Notice where the moon is now. Okay, in the solar eclipse, the moon was at 29 degrees Aries, and it was right next to the north node. In this chart, the moon is at 14 degrees Scorpio, and again, it's landing there within the proximity of the south node. Okay, so there again, you see the alignment of the south and north nodes. All right. So the first thing, Scorpio archetype. Okay, what is the essence of this archetype? Well, it's about exposure. It's the archetype that wants to expose, it wants to open something up, and it wants us to see beyond what is there. Okay, so it removes the fluff and the noise, and it addresses the core intention. So an example is, hey, I got into my car, I traveled to the store, I picked up some food, and I drove home, and I made the food and I ate it. Okay, that's kind of the story. Scorpio asks the question, what made you go to the store? And then the answer is, well, I was hungry. So that's what Scorpio is looking for. It's that bottom line that says, well, you were hungry, that then prompted the action of going to collect food and eating. So when you have Scorpio planets within your life, or when we're running Scorpio stories, what we're really seeking is the bottom line of something. Okay, so the question here for each and every one of us, you individually, that you can use to reflect on in order to utilize this energy to the best of your potential, the best of your possibility, is to examine the underlying motivations. So there's a duality here. It's to examine the underlying motivations that are attached to your Aries quest. So on one side is, well, why am I doing this? Right? What is the motivation behind this quest I'm on? Okay, what is the core intention? Get really clear on that process, right? It cuts straight to the bone and really gets this sense of clarity. So this energy will prompt us to ask the question, what is the underlying driving force that is pushing me to seek this new direction? Now, on the other side of the story, this Scorpio archetype also is prompting the necessary elimination, the ending off, the cutting away of any underlying psychological and emotional limitations that you may carry that prevent you from crossing the threshold into this new adventure. Whatever that may be. And it varies from person to person. There's no one size fits all. I can't say it's this for this person, that it is. What I'm giving you here is the kind of baseline prompt within yourself to explore your deeper inner reality. So the Scorpio archetype has this binary nature to it in this chart. For me, one is a representation of get clear on your drives and motivations. Get to the center of your being with this over here. Really reflect on what am I really doing? Why am I really doing this? Ask those Scorpio questions. And then the second one is, in order for you to cross over a threshold, to begin something new, to step into a new world, to do something new, to go beyond your limitations. Because later you'll see that there's a natural square between Jupiter and Pluto. You need to be able to let go of any disempowering attachments you may have that are rooted in the past. Okay, so it's a letting go process, and it is also getting to know the core intention. I hope that feels clear to you, that this binary Scorpio archetype here. So if we take that and then we go back into aspect one, which was the pebbles, right, with the line there, it's about alignment. Okay, this energy is about alignment. It's the first thing. Okay, so why alignment? Well, Luna won't do this for me, but I'm going to press Neptune in Pisces, naturally squaring 27-degree Venus in Gemini. Okay, so that's an exact square that's taking place. This is what is called a crisis in consciousness square. It's where there is an attempt to establish one's sense of identity into the world through action. Okay, so this aspect between these two planets, this square over here, the way that this energy will play out is that there is a necessary prompt to say, can I step into something new? I have a certain orientation in myself. I have a certain set of values. I have a certain instinct to want to try something new, something fresh. Okay, and here the square is the ability to want to now put that into play, and it's through action. It's like I want to do something new. I feel this pressure to do something new. So the potential here for each and every one of us between Neptune and Venus is to actually go a bit farther here. Since September last year up until I think it was even in March, Mars was in Gemini, right? Remember that long retrograde phase where Mars was in Gemini? Well, this Venus that's just transit through Gemini, it has been internalizing what September, October, November, December, January, February was for all of us. So whatever the Mars retrograde meant for you, this Venus has come along and it's now made it personal. You're now forming a relationship to yourself and to your life that directly correlates to whatever September, October, November, December, January was for you. Whatever changed within your life with that Mars in Gemini. Okay, so Venus comes along and forms an inner, personal, and outer relationship to the self. Okay, and the square between Neptune is, how do I take what I have done over the last 6 months, 5 months, and implement it into the world? How do I move forward with it? Okay, and there's a kind of tension between, I don't know how to do that, but I feel the need to do that. Okay, so part of this process in terms of alignment, and the reason why alignment is because it must be aligned with inspiration. It must be aligned with a sense of freshness within your life. So the way that I would encourage you to look at this aspect is to see where things seem to be fermenting or decaying, or feel as if the road has reached the end. There's a culmination, there's a closure of something within your life, and that it's gone, right? It's moved on from that space. So no, the question is, what are you holding on to? Remember the lunar eclipse Scorpio energy. Can you let go of certain attachments within yourself? Okay, so there's a prompting to get in alignment with your truth. And the Gemini energy will spin a binary. It will say something like, you both hold a limiting perspective within yourself, and you can feel the emptiness in something, and while at the same time you can also feel the inspiration of something new. And the call here is to align with the intuitive knowing of one's truth in the moment. Right? It's very much about the capacity to be present in the moment and to align with one's truth and to be receptive to life. There's a deep receptivity in this aspect, and that's why, again, that line moves through those pebbles. Those pebbles are heavy, right? That feels like our life, like we're clunking through something, but this aspect really speaks to the potential to be receptive to the flow of life and the things that are coming into your life, and then responding with new inquisitiveness, and responding with new attention, responding with new possibility. Okay, and that moon in Scorpio is really holding a profound psychic sense to know that, and it's binary. It's like it may be or not. Okay. So we can also take a look over here. There's Saturn at 5 degrees in Pisces over there. It's trining the south node. So the trine to the south node with Saturn is an attempt to prompt the necessary culmination or letting go of something, the closure to something. Okay. One's reality moving forward may not work for you anymore. So there's a kind of like frustration that's leading you to reflect on what feels like it needs to be culminated. There has to be closure. Okay. You can even see the inconjunct between Chiron and Aries and then the moon there at 14 degrees, right? This natural relationship between these two planets is the anxiety of separation. It's like, can I instinctually do something new and feel the possibility or the potential to do this? Can I step into the new world? Can I be free enough to let go of the ghosts of the past? Okay. Do you remember in the solar eclipse video that I did last year in November, and I talked about the solar eclipse is about revealing the ghosts that harbor our psychic experiences of fully being able to experience our potential, to grow into our truth, to be fully empowered. And so what I mean by the ghosts of the past are these aspects within us that are lifeless, that we have lost our vibrancy in it. Right? It can be through unprocessed grief. It can be through trauma. It can be through experiences where we have lost our voice in some sense. Like this is where are we bound by our past experiences that have limiting our potential internally and externally for ourselves, right? So this energy over here is that tension between, are you ready to actually take that? Are you ready to you would have done this work over the last 6 months, but are you ready to step into something new? So it's the possibility, it's the potential to actually experience Chiron and Aries, a new direction, a freedom from something, a limitation from internal shackles that you may hold within yourself because you're afraid, or you haven't really yet developed the trust in yourself or the courage to step into something new. And that again, the range of what that can be can go from doing something completely different in your life, like career, to choosing to establish new boundaries in a relationship, to just communicating differently, to opening up certain lines of communication if it's in your third house, to really stepping into a new sense of truth and identity with 9th house and 11th house energy. Okay. So there is first a necessary need to be receptive to the alignment process that is occurring for your soul. Yeah, that's the key piece here. Once that alignment is now in play, we get to experience using our voice. Okay, so part of this energy, part of this lunar eclipse, is the capacity for a new vocalization of something, a new voice, a new expression, a new way of bringing your individuality and uniqueness to the table. Pluto in Aquarius. It's retrograde now, right? So there's an internal process of addressing those core Plutonian themes, Pluto in Aquarius. Right? Where is there stuckness within you? Where are you still feeling emotionally limited or bound by something internally for yourself? What are you working on within your internal world and establishing within your internal world? What is holding you back? So if you notice in this chart, okay, let's go back to the chart itself. Look where Mercury is, right between the Sun, Uranus, and the North Node, right? It's all in the middle there, between the North Node and the Moon. So between the Sun and the Moon, and then between the North Node and the Sun. So that Mercury is significant, right? Not only is Mercury the planet that influences Venus, which is sitting at 27 degrees of Gemini, trining that Neptune, Mercury is retrograde. So each of us internally are looking to find our inner voice. So part of this energy is really getting clear and asking those internal questions. What is my core commitment? Who am I? Right? What am I fostering and developing in my own personal unique story? Okay. And that Mercury specifically is pointing to that Taurus energy and asking what has been buried. Where do you not allow your voice to be heard? Where do you put it aside? Where do you keep it unspoken? What sorts of thinking and perspectives that you hold about yourself that you may hide, that you may shun away? The Taurus archetype here asks to help you see that there is something that you are trying to express, or this energy is trying to express, pardon me, and you are wanting to bring that to the surface, right? Taurus likes to bury things, and it likes to keep things nicely in a nice little pile, and it keeps all of the uncomfortable Scorpio things underneath the surface. So the invitation here with Mercury retrograde in Taurus conjunct the Sun is to ask yourself the question, what am I hiding about my individuality? What shadow parts of myself must be revealed? How can I allow my voice and my life to be in alignment? Right? So there's this alignment process, and then there's alignment process in terms of your thinking, in terms of your ideas, in terms of your value. Who are you? Right? Allow that to come to the surface. Give it vibrancy. The Sun conjunct this, right? It really wants to help this unique sense of your truth come to the surface. Now, there's a whole entire different layer of this process that's also taking place, which is that there's an attempt to hide the truth. There's an attempt to cover up what's really there. So this Mercury retrograde is also prompting, along with Uranus up here, to bring things to the surface. And there's a whole entire set of cultural values that are emerging within the collective here with this energy. The Taurus wants to, for the collective, what you'll see is a new set of values being established, and the potential moving away from a set of values within a culture, within a society, and burying that, like saying, no, that's no longer valuable in a society, then that's no longer purposeful, this is taboo, this is not what is allowed to be spoken about, that should be shamed, etc. And then a whole new series of values and ideals and perspectives that are emerging. So on a collective level, that's what's existing, but individually, the opportunity to self-express, to align with your own unique ideas. So the kind of image that I was thinking about today, I was talking to somebody, was that this energy is like you are sharpening and understanding your personal key, so that when the door arrives, solar eclipse, and you're paying attention to life prompting you to the dark direction, you will know what the door looks like, because you'll be like, that's the key that goes into that door. But a lot of people don't know their key, because they don't know what their key looks like and how it's formed. When they try and put it into a door, it's the wrong door because the key doesn't work. So we feel frustrated. We're not unlocking our potential. We're not unlocking our purpose, or in terms of our individual archetypal story of who you are. So again, this Mercury retrograde in Taurus is the potential to look and address underlying feelings that you may hide away. It's also prompting the moon to ask the question, what are your motives and agendas here? What's the direction? What do you value? And get into that sense of you are here to acknowledge your own voice, to hear something communicate, come out. And we're working on that. Mercury likes to label things, so it wants to know what are you valuing? What are, when you're in alignment with the right space. So there's an attunement process that's taking place with this Mercury. And it's a progressive erosion of old patterns within your life and the potential and possibility for something new to emerge out of it. Okay. All right. Aspect number 3. So here we are going to look at a shift in perspective, a different way of seeing things. So I like this image because, it's like when you see 3D art being drawn, and when you look at it from the top perspective, it just looks like drawing on a flat surface. But as soon as you kind of move to a certain angle, it comes alive. Now just go onto YouTube and just type it in, like 3D drawings, and then watch somebody draw it, and then they move the camera to a certain angle, and all of a sudden something that looked so sort of two-dimensional now becomes this whole holographic image. It's pretty wild. So this third aspect is the possibility of shifting, of allowing a shift in perspective to give you the thing that you are there to see. Okay? So, Jupiter, Pluto. There's the square, the natural square between those two patterns. It's also on top of that North node. We'll go into Taurus fairly soon. Okay? And if we just click on Jupiter itself, Jupiter is naturally in opposition to that South node. It's naturally squaring Mars in Cancer. So Mars in Cancer, Jupiter in Aries square, and then you also have Pluto squaring Jupiter, and Pluto will be in opposition to Mars fairly soon. So within the next 2 to 3 weeks, expect a lot of emotions to come to the surface of Pluto oppose Mars. Okay? And so we've got a lot to process in the next 2 weeks. And this energy, this Pluto moon energy, because the moon is influencing the Cancer archetype, you can pretty much know that this moon is going to, the moon that's ruling Mars, that's what I'm saying, it's going to deeply impact a lot of metamorphosis over the next couple of weeks. And so this square, this T square that's emerging, right? Pluto with Mars, with Jupiter, it doesn't show it directly here because it's not exactly in opposition to Pluto per se, but it is. So within a 10-degree orb. This Mars is very significant. So there's a necessary need of shift in perspective that will be prompted out of feelings of frustration and limitation. In other words, what I'm saying here is that there is a need to have an open-mindedness around some limitations or frustrations or blockages that are occurring potentially in your life. And it's a momentary decision to say, it's very instinctual, Mars. It's like, okay, you know what? This situation or this road that I've traveled every single day feels very comfortable to me, but now there's a problem that's come about of it, and I need to embrace a new direction. And in order for that new direction to appear like liberation, you have to surrender a certain philosophical truth or belief system you may hold about yourself and the situation. So in order to be in alignment, let me back up here for a second. So there's a necessary need to address underlying perspectives, truths, biases that you have towards something that usually are formed around a sense of identity security, like a feeling of security that you hold on to that has become redundant. So this final piece is the potential to see the situation from a different perspective. And oftentimes that will become like a flash, that aha, but it will be challenging at first because it requires you to grow beyond your comfort zone. Okay, that's what this lunar eclipse is inviting us to do here. So if we go to the images and we start off by looking at aspect 1, the intention is about alignment, right? Hearing the core, the whispers from in your life to look at what is feeling inspirational, what is feeling in alignment with your life, right? Meaningful, that comes from within. This intuitive core. Then it is to begin to allow for your voice to come online, for your curiosity to come online, for yourself to begin to communicate and express that. Like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it, right? Allow yourself to lead with that process. And in that experience, recognize that allowing yourself to be open, curious, and for a new perspective to be embodied, and the elimination of certain biases that you may hold about something, limitations you may hold, very deeply entrenched. That Moon Scorpio energy wants you to confront that limitation and say, thanks very much, I'm going to grieve you now. I loved that this was part of my life for a certain period of time, but now it's over, I'm ready to move forward. And that's what that solar eclipse wants you to do. It wants you to move forward with something, right? But you can't do that if you're carrying luggage from the past. So it needs to be, you need to step into a new dimension. Okay, so new era for each and every one of us, the possibility of something new, the recognition and the ability to get in touch with your own intuitive senses, your capacity to feel a call, inspiration, meaning, and the binary between something that feels like it has become redundant, it's become outdated, it feels lack of inspiration, to question that and to ask that, okay, how can I begin to grieve the process of this ending? Then to allow for your curiosity and your voice to come on, to start speaking about those things, connect your voice to the thing that feels inspirational, right? To express one's individuality. And then to observe as you cross that threshold. I cannot bring the luggage with me behind. I can't bring the past into this new. It's no longer that. There's like a threshold gateway that exists here, and as you cross it like that, this energy frequency is like, sorry, you can't bring that with you. Not allowed. Access denied. All right, cool. So that's my little presentation for you. I really hope that, even though it was pretty long, you could sit with it and you could really resonate with what I'm talking about over here. All right. Where is the cam? I can see you. Okay. All right. So did anybody, let's see how many people with us. Yes, it's definitely good to listen to it again. I mean, it's going to be here for the next, I mean, this energy will be like pressing us over the next 6 months. So it's not like, you know, tomorrow there's a decision that you make, but then over the next 6 months, you'll watch it play out in a way that is inspirational, meaningful for you. So what I'm encouraging you to understand about this energy is the prompt to listen to the call, right? This intuitive yielding, this sense of inspiration that's cultivating within you. Allow that to be your guidance system. Question your limitations within yourself. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of if I take this step into this new direction? And then merge with and osmose with a symbol or an image that represents an empowering piece, right? So let's say you rely on the buses to get you from point A to point B. And one day the bus doesn't arrive on time, or you just come to this realization that you just can't do this anymore. Address this and ask yourself, is there another way that I can solve it? Maybe you need to get a driver's license. So the quest becomes the image of what it feels like to have freedom around that. The Scorpio moon in lunar eclipse says, okay, here's your limitation. What does it take to then get to that freedom? Confront that, osmose with that image, and take the 6-month process to allow that to free it. There's this profound opportunity right now to completely change an underlying belief systems or way that you see the world, to experience it with this energy. And it's here for us to take, right, at an individual level. Okay. Kara. As always, Kara, I deeply appreciate your I don't even know what they're called. They're just like, it's a super chat. Yes, the super chat. Thank you very much, Kara. Much appreciated. I deeply appreciate your work. I'm brainstorming the opposite image of being rooted and stuck. Maybe a feather on the wind, as far as in Forrest Gump. I like that. I like that. Dollar bills. Exactly. Exactly. Oh man, that cracks me up. I love that. I just had the sounds in my head. All right. Elizabeth, feeling like I've hit a brick wall in my Buddhist practice. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Scorpio, 8th house. Okay, well, there's a great example, right? If you've hit that brick wall in that process, consider the fact that this may be the end of the line. This may be the end of the line of this process. You may be finding, and so that frustration is there you want to prompt yourself to see something beyond that reality. Okay. Happy to hear that, Connor. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me? I can spend some time just jamming with you for a bit. Nodal reversals are interesting times in a person's life. They absolutely are. And the way that you navigate them is emotionally, it's difficult, but it's super simple in the sense that when you have a nodal reverse, the soul is literally saying, hey, I've been here before, and it feels very similar to what I've been always doing, but there's something over here that's kind of just asking me to look at it from a different perspective. How can I re-engage with the same scenario from a new way? And so again, the nodes, there's 9 years and then 18, which is a complete nodal return. And then every 3.5 years, you'll have a square to your natal nodes. And it's that axis of like nodal return, then the square, then the opposition, then the square again, and then again back to the nodal return is what actually creates this sensation of movement in your life and change in your life. So if you just have a nodal opposition, it simply just means halfway point, and I would go back all the way to when you had the nodal return and ask yourself what was happening in that at that point in your life, and then just look at how what you were dealing with at that point in life. How have you returned to the same place, but now you're looking at it from the different perspective? Now you're looking at it from the complete opposite side and saying, okay, how can I integrate these changes? Okay. Can I speak more, a bit more on the symbol? So you're referring to the symbol of what I mean by like the Aries energy? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Kathy B, your natal Mars is in Cancer in your 12th house. What should this mean? I just moved. It's been very traumatic. Okay, Rebecca, so I can answer that question. 3 minutes now until the end. Okay. All right, so it's been very traumatic. In what way has it been traumatic for you, Kathy B? Yes, I mean, we've been experiencing the eclipse energy since the first eclipse, which happened 2 weeks ago. So, absolutely, Karen. Okay, Anna, I loved that too. The symbol, the idea to create entirely on your own is my thought. Okay, well, again, like I said, Aries energy is something that has actually no form. It's just directly instinctual. It's like, hey guys, I'm just going to do this lunar eclipse video with you over here, and I just jumped on, and whatever happens, happens. Okay, so that's kind of Aries energy. It's an instinctual awareness to be present with new opportunities that arrive in the moment for us. So again, the lunar solar eclipse was be present with situations and scenarios that could show up for you that are pointing you in a different direction. The lunar eclipse is just asking you to be conscious of that, and also to say if there's anything that like prompts you to go, oh, maybe I can't do this, or maybe I shouldn't do this, to address that and say, well, how come? And if you do have that anxiety of separation or that feeling of uncertainty, address it. Like, go to it, confront it, do a Scorpio thing and say, this is limiting me, and somehow I've got to find ways to establish a new sense of structure. Well, not a new sense of structure per se, but something that symbolizes empowerment, right? Whatever that may be. So look at the problem, understand what you're feeling disempowered by, and then look for a solution. And then form a symbol around that solution. Yes, that's what happens with Scorpio energy. I'm totally exhausted. Well, that would absolutely happen with Mars transiting your 12th house. For every one of you that has Mars transit your 12th house, I can pretty much say that you will feel exhausted with that energy, because Mars is like, hey, let's go do this, let's go do this. And Pisces is like, maybe we'll do it and we'll forget about it. Maybe you should write an entire 5,000 page word essay, and then, the lights go out and it doesn't save. That's Pisces. Things happen. So it's like when those two energies collide, it feels like you're swimming in water with weights on. So take it easy. Like after this thing, like really, really go into a hibernation phase and try and heal yourself. That's how I would deal with it. Okay. You feel rejected. I mean, I wouldn't be able to know how to completely navigate that stuff with you at the moment, but what I can say is that it sounds like there's a lot of grief work that needs to be done there, which can be uncomfortable. But look, if this energy is wanting you to maybe address something that you felt, whatever you're feeling around that process over there, I definitely use the opportunity to process emotional material. Okay. And you can go and check out Kara McLaren on YouTube. She has a lot of work on stuff on emotional work. Otherwise, is there a possibility to work Metamorphosis with me, that we can process that material? Anybody that is interested in working long term with me or wants to process these eclipses on a 3-month scale, I'll put a link in the description, or there is a description already there. You can create just fill out the form so that I can understand what your needs are, and then let's have a conversation. You can book a call with me, and then we can have a conversation and see if there's a possibility to work with you. It's something that I think benefits a lot of people, because one reading doesn't really capture the entire essence of what your soul is trying to do. It's more long-term work. And I know a lot of people in the chat have already done Metamorphosis with me, so you can ask them, if that's something that you can work with. It's the eclipse right now. Indeed it is. That's what you were saying about the time. Okay. So clear for the main priority of energies. Now, somebody asked me about the symbol. I was just going to say, each of us has a different, there is no universal symbol. What you want to do is look at what in your life symbolizes freedom for you, symbolizes coming out of something that you've been hiding from, right? You want to step into something that feels empowering to yourself. Well, what does that symbol look like? What does the symbol of freedom look like? Is it somebody who goes and gets a driver's license because they don't want to take the bus anymore? Is it somebody that starts an education because they want to follow the stream? Yeah, and it's got to this empowering perspective. All right, so Hunting Hills, you have been the designated chat for us to know when the lunar eclipse is happening, and it is now, so thanks very much. Feel and identify your emotions, not easy, and the matrix doesn't help us like us doing that. No, it doesn't at all. Okay. Okay, so break that down into something that has slight agency to it. What does good health look like to you? And start with something immediate and small. You know, it can just be something along the lines of taking water with you at night, for instance, and waking up feeling a little more hydrated, and then starting out small from there. What does that look like? Mars in Cancer really doesn't help at the moment. Mars in Cancer is the energy to initiate in a new direction. I'm going to put this over here so people can see me there. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. Sometimes I really get frustrated with my second house south node. I get way too comfortable and don't want to move. That's classic Taurus there for you. I need a spa week. I love it. Make it happen. Make it happen. Do you see those teens in Maryland that tried to shoot a middle schooler on the bus and the gun got jammed 3 times? I mean, yeah, that's pretty intense. I mean, this is the type of energy that can bring that type of stuff out. Gosh. Thank you for elaborating on the symbol. I get it. Excellent. That's great to hear. Okie dokie. So, quick announcement regarding work with regards to professional astrology. If you are somebody that wants to take yourself out of the self-study process, and you're wanting to actually become more proficient at it, you want guidance and mentorship, you want to be able to step into a more empowered professional role of some sort, then there is a link in the description as well. All you need to do is just fill out a little form so I can get a clear sense of where you're at, and then let's have a call so that we can have a conversation about whether or not there's an actual fit for us, and if we can help you with that ability to step into a more empowered astrological practice, right? If you want to run a business, you want to do readings for people from an evolutionary perspective, then I'll put a link in the description. You can go check that out and see if there's a possibility to work with you, okay? And then as well as the actual long-term soul work that I also do as well. So again, there's a link in the description. Just fill out the form. And what it basically will do is we'll have a call and we'll see if there's an opportunity for us to work together. And long-term work is incredibly empowering because, as I said, in one reading, you can have a transformational experience, but it leaves the agency behind, right? It leaves the post-processing and the consistent kind of support around that. So That's why, to me, long-term work is so much more empowering as well. So if that's something that you're interested in and you're curious about that, then again, go check out the description for links, okay? All right. All right, peeps. Well, if nobody has any more questions for me, I feel like this is where we can end off today. It was an honor to sit with you and talk to you about the astrology as well. And I've got it on my notes over here. And as soon as I get some time, I'm going to put out a video called How Pluto Enacts Its Evolution, which I'm excited about in some sense. And I don't know yet when, but I'm really excited to talk about Chiron and how it relates to Saturn and Uranus in your astrology chart, and how you can actually begin to consciously work with it. There's not a lot of information out there that helps you really understand the necessary need to understand your Saturn, your Chiron, so your Saturn and your Uranus in your chart, to be able to understand fully what your Chiron is trying to say. So I've been wanting to do this for a long period of time, but at some point I will, and I'm going to share that out there. It's on my list. All right, peeps, have a fantastic lunar eclipse experience. I will see you in another video. Take care. Bye, guys.